as a person is not bearing good fruit, that means you are bearing bad fruit, and you are poisonous to the earth. Because everyone on this earth is made of the earth, and the earth comprises of water and dry land. So when you cannot impact the earth, and when I mean the earth, I am talking about people. In the spiritual aspect, you are a seed planted on the ground, the earth. And you must follow instruction to be able to bear good fruit. It's not just being planted in God. You need to bear fruit. Everyone that wants to bear fruit must follow what is known as leading instructions. And if you don't follow those instructions, how can you bear good fruit? A lot of you plant your seed in a place that is not germinating good fruits, and you feel you are doing something for God. You feel you are serving God. But I want to let you know, even in serving God, there is an instruction. Everyone who wants to serve God must follow instruction on how to serve Him better. It is not all about serving God. Are you serving God better? Because that is the only way you can produce good fruit, when you follow instructions of God. It's not all about doing the things of God. Is it what God has led you to do? Because every leading comes with the Spirit of God. The grace of God is backed up by every leading. You mustn't go where God has not instructed that you should go. And that is why my people perish for lack of what? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. I want to let you know, even in serving God, there are instructions. God has laid commandments and instructions. You cannot cook a food that God cannot eat. There are food that you think that you want to please God. You begin to cook the food for God, and you don't know that that food is poisonous to God. Everyone, let me tell you something. Everyone has what they like and what they dislike. And that is why when you go into a relationship with somebody, you must know the dislike and the like of that person. For you not to over-please the person. You might think you are pleasing the person, but you are hurting the person. And that is why you as a person must understand. That is why courtship is there. That is why relationship in God is there. Relationship makes you to understand what God likes and what God does not like, so that you don't please Him in a way that you feel that you want to please Him, but that hurts God. That provoked God. Look at the aspect of Abihu and Nadab. When God appeared in the temple, when they saw the presence of God, they took up an unauthorized fire. Because they feel the presence of God is there. They wanted to please God. But that was against the instruction. That was against the Spirit of God. The Lord said, I will put fear in the people. You need to ask God, how can I please you? That is bearing good fruit. If you don't follow instruction, you can never bear fruits. Good one. You might be thinking, this is what I'm going to do to please God, but you don't know that is what is hurting God. That is what separates you from God. That is what provokes God. Because even God is a command, and everyone who wants to please God and to have Him in his life or her life must be able to follow the instruction of God. You must be able to follow the instruction of God to please Him. Because there are things that you do that provoke the Spirit, and you feel that you are doing it to please God, but it provokes Him. And Abihu and Nadab, they were destroyed by the fire of God, because God did not instruct them. They felt they wanted to please the presence of God, but God was provoked and He destroyed them. You can be destroyed. Do you know that? Because you feel you are pleasing God. If God has not commanded it, nobody can do it. We don't know God to the extent. We only know God in a shallow way. But God is deeper. He is so deeper. And for you to understand Him, you must go deeper into the realm. Through a relationship, you get to know what God likes. How He likes it. How He likes His food prepared. How He likes His worship. how he likes his praises, how he likes the way you talk to him, how he likes it. You must understand this, because God has feelings too. God has the mind of his own, and Jesus Christ the mind of God. And that is why when Jesus Christ went into the temple and they were selling all kind of things in the temple, he got angry. He was provoked. You cannot fix something without following instruction. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Every good fruit you bear, people must glorify God for it. And if people have not been glorifying God, that means you are not bearing good fruit. Because before you can impact people, you must be able to impact God. Impact God by following his instructions. And only when you impact God, you please God, that is when you can impact people. Anyone who hasn't pleased God cannot impact anyone. Because it is the Spirit of God that comes to rest upon you, to radiate his glory for people to see your fruit that is so shiny. Your fruit is what Eve will look at and say, this fruit look appetizing. Every fruit must be appetizing in the eyes of people, that they want to pluck out of it and eat it. And not just eating it. When they eat it, it is nutritious to the body. It refreshes them. It revives them. Every fruit must revive people. Every instruction you follow activates the Spirit of God. And that is the only way your light will shine before men, that they may see your good deed and glorify God. Because you please God through his instruction and his leading, you are what? Impacting people. And people again comes to give all the glory back to God. They come to give back all the glory to him, because you are able to please him. Even if you want to use that talent to serve God, even if you want to use that ability, you want to be speaking to people, you want to evangelize, you want to open an online ministry, you must first of all go to God. Is this what you want me to do? Because if God has not said go, you can never impact people. And you begin to ask yourself, why is it that my fruit is not good for people? It's not because you are not doing the right thing. It's because you have not aligned to the right one, to make the things you do the right thing, that people might be impacted and see it right and glorify God. Everyone that comes to this life has something to do. And what you do, you must align to the right one to direct you. Wisdom. And if it directs you, there is what we call the grace that follows you. The grace is called the light of God that shines upon you, that you might impact people. Before you can impact people, you must be able to impact God and yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. If you don't have faith in God, how can you impact people to have faith in God? A lot of you are just doing what you need to do. You feel like, I am doing something for God. I am preaching the gospel. But when situation arises, when the storm begins to break up, you begin to hide yourself. And you feel that you can impact people. How can you impact people when you are not an impact to yourself? When you are not an impact, when you do not believe in God, how can you do it? That means you are doing eye service work. Man, you must be the word for you to give out the word. You must be the word before you can impact somebody with the word. If you are not the word, the carrier of the word, how can you impart and transmit the word to another person? And the Spirit of God is what carries the grace of God. The Spirit of God carries the grace of God. That means when God leads you and you follow, the grace comes to follow you. The grace comes to align with you. And when the grace comes to align with you, you are able to impact people.